States Air Force and this radio station. And now here he is, the star of this week's show, Tommy Cash.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be back again on Country Music Time, one of our favorite things to do. And we're here for the United States Air Force, and I'm very glad to be with you, and I hope you enjoy some of our songs. Here's a song that was written by Carl Perkins, and one of my favorite songs of all the ones I've recorded, because I think it had a little bit of something in it for everybody, called Rise and Shine. Little children, do not worry. You've still got lots of time. There's no need in walking backwards. Turn around and rise and shine. Your load always seems heavy, and you're always left behind. Pick yourself up from the ground and jump right back and rise and shine. Rise and shine in the early morning and shine your light all through the day. Makes no difference what they tell you. Stand right up and have your say, 'cause the good Lord said he loved you. Through him new strength you'll find. Even though the world may use you, get up now, go rise and shine. Look at how they did poor Jesus. They nailed him to a cross, but he died out there on Calvary so the world would not be lost. So no matter how they treat you, they slap you in the face, remember Jesus loved you, and on the cross he took your place. Rise and shine in the early morning, shine your light all through the day. Makes no difference what they tell you. Stand right up and have your say, 'cause the good Lord said he loves you. Through him new strength you'll find. Even though the world may use you, get up now, go rise and shine. Do you remember Lazarus? He begged for the rich man's crumb, but that rich man, high and mighty, refused and gave him none. Now he's breaking bread with Jesus in that big house up above, 'cause the good book plainly tells us Lazarus learned to live on love. Rise and shine in the early morning, shine your light all through the day. Makes no difference what they tell you. Stand right up and have your say, 'cause the good Lord said he loved you. Through him new strength you'll find. Even though the world may use you, get up now, go rise and shine. Even though the world may use you, get up now, go rise and shine. Thank you very much. Thank you. My next song is a song that I have to take responsibility for because I wrote it, and it's, I guess you'd call a love song. And I was lonely one night in a hotel room in Dallas, Texas, and the idea came to me for a song called I Owe the World to You. Your sweet love has made me the man that I am. Your smiles and your kisses are my helping hand. And as long as you love me, I'll always be true, 'cause I owe the world to you. Yes, I owe the world to you. Yes, I do. My weakness draws courage from you. And I'm no longer found on the wrong side of town. Yes, I owe the world to you. There were times when my dreams and my goals seemed to be a hope and a prayer with no reality. Then you came along to help me get through. Now I owe the world to you. Yes, I owe the world to you. Yes, I do. All my weakness draws courage from you. And I'm no longer found on the wrong side of town. Yes, I owe the world to you. Yes, I owe the world to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I guess everybody needs somebody to owe the world to. And now here's a word from my good friend, Sergeant Perry Bullard.
Thank you, Tommy. If you're a college graduate, why not live a little? As a woman officer in the United States Air Force, travel.
Good evening. You are listening to... And when the sky falls again, we shall be prepared! Cause we're rolling big
Are live.
Hi. So.
Although I actually don't have like a ball sack to wear over my face from the game page.
Great way to start the stream.
That's, I mean, like, you could always get one. Halloween is coming up.
It is. It is. True. True. So, hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you?
Fucking amazing.
Caffeinated.
I'm glad that I'm in an air-conditioned place at the moment.
I am too, and it's probably coming up on this mic, and I just don't care because it's too hot to worry about it.
Basement apartments may be holes in the ground, but they are cooler than upstairs.
Basements are really nice places to live, honestly.
But you live in Canada where all the cold air comes from, so...
You would be surprised how warm it gets sometimes. We've still had pavement hot days. Like, it just, a melting tar is the street.
So guys, I like to do something in Planescape where I make you all roll a d20 and then I choose somebody to give us a recap from last episode.
A d20 to what?
5.
8.
Oh god.
Come on, Arlie.
12.
Oh man, you roll high. So low roll gets picked on.
Is that me? Oh.
It is. See, why don't you give us a little rundown of what happened last time?
So, we were on a ship, and on our way to land, we got attacked by these water ghouls of death who tried to get onto our boat, at which point, Maxwell, right? That's correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Maxwell.
Think Maxwell's demon, like the science.
Or Maxwell's silver hammer.
Decided that he wanted to blow the boat up to save us, and at which point blew our captain into small bits into the water. But we eventually did make it to land, and we came across a mine where we met Destiny and what was the gentleman's name? I forget.
A preacher.
We met them at the mine, and that's where we left off.
Excellent. So we have descended into the mine on the hillside here in Crum, West Virginia. You all sort of come into, it's almost like a little civilization under here with, there's little buildings set up inside, made out of tin and wood and pretty much any scrap materials they can find around in the area. Preacher leads you in sort of this open common area here where there's tables set up and benches. And sits his rifle up on top of it and takes a seat. So, where are you all headed to exactly?
So how much time has passed since the last game?
Seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Destiny sitting down somewhere?
Yeah, she'll follow her father there.
Okay. I'm gonna follow Destiny.
Okay. She takes a seat there as well with the rest of them.
Not sit down.
Are there open seats for all of us too?
Yeah, it's like a large common area.
Okay. I'll sit down, like a little bit away from, like the nearest like local.
Gotcha.
Nearest local.
He Isaac doesn't know anything about these people. He's like probably gonna sit right down next to Trinity.
Yes.
I guess
I'll get awkwardly close to Destiny to make room for you to sit next to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just sit down near them too.
Okay.
Do the whole like pull out the notebook thing, and I'm just going to immediately start barraging the first person I sit down next about the local wildlife and fauna.
You're obsessed with that.
Oh, I am. I mean, it's what I do.
Right. So, you guys are sitting there, and an elderly gentleman walks up. He has, like, this tray full of, like, little shot glasses and a very old-looking bottle that he sits in front of Preacher and Destiny and starts, pouring a little bit of drink out. You all want a drink before we start discussing what's going on?
I don't drink.
Trinity can't drink, but I'll take one.
Okay.
I mean, Maxwell just like gives him a nod. It's like a thank you.
It's one of the few irradiated things we have here.
I'm just inwardly thinking, like, honestly, it can't rot my guts any worse than they already are.
I have no guts.
So I'd like to reiterate, what are you all doing here exactly?
I suppose moving on to fairer weather compared to our last area and searching out sort of opportunities. I mean,
Helping where we can.
Helping where you can. Well, isn't that a noble cause?
I would like to find a research center.
A research center?
Yes.
Well, a little bit of ways from that. You probably have to head up toward Huntington.
About how far away is Huntington?
Well, you took the river, probably a half day. On foot, it might be a little longer, but you have a rough time getting up there with the current situation.
While we are here, is there anything we can help you with?
I can. If there's someone who needs medical attention, I can try my best to help out.
which actually, on that note, is there any pharmacies which have since been abandoned or the like? We realize medicinal things and antibiotics are in short supply.
We have a makeshift hospital down here for the time being. Most of our supplies were up in the town itself, but we sort of got run out by our friends.
Friends?
The ghouls.
Oh.
They're not their friends.
I got that now. Well, if there's anyone who needs medical help, I can do my best to help.
Well, you can go talk to Eustace if you would like to take a look at the current accommodations.
That'd be great, yeah.
In the meantime, as far as helping our situation, I'm not quite sure that you can. We have quite an infestation.
If you don't mind me asking, where did they all come from?
It was a couple weeks, no, maybe a month. Time's hard to tell when you're in the ground all the time. Across the river's ways, They come in droves. It's like an endless supply. Sometimes dragging some of us off. It's been a rough time. I thought we were safe here.
So, do you live in the mine or just mine it for resources?
Well, for the time being, we live in the mine. There's not much for resources anymore.
Living in a mine can be very dangerous.
Yeah.
As can living on a surface with man-eating ghouls.
Yeah.
But no, the resources in this mine were taken long, long ago, even before the war.
Do you think that there's something that's drawing them here?
That is the question I'm not quite sure about.
I mean, some insight there is, considering their appetite, this might be the...
Closest people source?
I was going to say source of sustenance that also would be comparatively safe, which is why I was asking about the local flora and fauna. If most of the things are... Shelby, before things occurred, was informing me of your squirrel issues.
Oh, we have many issues besides squirrels. Yes.
Isaac would like to go over either in his head or if he marked down any of them, any of the local, when he was looking at the map, if there's anything that jumped out as something that might attract ghouls necessarily.
Nothing jumps to your attention.
Okay.
Actually, are you like going over mappy stuff you may have noted?
Yeah.
Okay, Maxwell leans over, and given my knowledge of like how I became ghoulified, am I possibly able to cross-reference something that might have caused like a
Is
source
there a
of
giant
radiation?
nuclear reactor?
Hey,
look at that. Ghouls are us.
Yeah, ghouls are us. Testing zone, irradiated depths of mines for all we know, and then we don't really know, like, quite frankly, but looking for anything that might be a likely suspect based on my own knowledge and his knowledge of the area.
Well, there is a reactor. It's a ways away from here. I don't understand why they would be drawn here for that sole purpose exactly.
If the reactor was the source of what... Oh, if the reactor contaminated something nearby, per se, leakage that maybe got put down through a water source, then that could have resulted in them here, but you also might be the most viable source of nutrition.
If they ate everything where they were originally.
That too.
It's terrifying.
I can only go off speculation. As I said, there's rumor there is an old vault across the river. Besides that, all I really know of is an old town that used to be over there. Pretty famous for a church that used to be over there, but...
Each vault has been assigned a number. What is this vault's number?
I am honestly not sure. I've not been there.
What was so special about the church?
Well, I don't know if special would be a key term per se. It was kind of nefarious. I'm not sure how familiar you are with religions and such, but they were known sort of the snake people.
Does that ring a bell for Isaac?
Go ahead and make me a history check.
Hey, I'm proficient.
Can I do a religion check?
Sure.
That is going to be a 20, dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yep.
That's the 5. No.
Yeah, I don't really feel the need to assist on that history
Yeah.
check, 'cause I think you just knocked it out of the park.
This was sort of one of those
You can
old
assist on religion.
religious groups that had a Christian background at one point, but were very obsessed with the snake handling sort of type that you would have encountered. Well, not you, but
Yeah,
us.
the royal we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of became a cult almost over there. But I don't remember them being active anytime soon. I haven't seen them around. Once in a while they try to come to trade with us, but it's been months since that's occurred.
I mean, maybe they got eaten. To follow through with Isaac's theory that the ghouls are moving based on food sources.
It is a possibility, I suppose. I hadn't thought of that.
We could also check out this vault.
It wouldn't be a bad idea.
You could.
Where was the vault relative to the reactor?
Here?
Well, the reactor's up closer to Huntington, up the river. It's probably a good 3-4 hour walk to the reactor. It's along the riverside. Right where the big or the tug and the Ohio rivers meet. It was sort of stationed there.
Okay.
Before we settle down with a course of action here, I'd actually appreciate where I should borrow Isaac, and also if any of you might be able to fill me in just on the local fauna. There's some ideas I want to know, and your trappers, hunters, whatever, they might have a good idea of the movements of the local wildlife. The other thing is, Isaac, I need your help to test the water here and see how radioactive it is. If there is a certain amount of radiation leaking into it, that might lend credence to the idea that there's a leak causing the ghouls over time.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, we did see them in the river. So I don't know if that would contaminate it at all.
I mean, we're looking for radiation in certain degrees. So I don't think it would throw it off that much.
Depends on how many were in the river.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're not really in the river right now. They're spread across the shoreline. Emphasis
They're
on
everywhere. I definitely would like to see what I can do to help here too. So.
Since I don't need to like eat or breathe, if I was to go into the water to see if there were more in there, could I do that?
You could potentially do that, yes.
Do like a weekend at Bernie kind of thing. Because I'm resistant to radioactivity also, so I could do that to see if there's an infestation down there or if it was just a group that happened to be coming ashore.
Yeah. Either way, it's something I think that would be wise for us to look into, and then
it wouldn't hurt at the very least.
Yeah. So, you said you would prefer to be helping around here, correct? And seeing if you can possibly help.
Yeah.
Okay. I can go with Triniti to the shore, use my know-how, and see what we can ascertain from that. And if you could, and he like pulls out his like little thing where he's making all the fauna notes, and like if you could find out anything while you're talking to the townsfolk and add it to this.
Yep.
That'd be helpful. If I get eaten in the meantime, I expect you to preserve it, and
I won't mark up your notes, don't worry.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna write stuff in it.
We shall add you to the Shelby pieces and make jerky soup in your honor.
That's gross, but I feel fitting, kind of.
I'll be back to see if I can make more edible rations. If we can,
more edible would be a good step. Yes.
Goodbye.
We'll see you shortly.
So Preacher knocks back a drink.
Triniti, take care of him.
Yeah.
Will do, Isaac.
If you plan on going out by yourself, I'll be utmost careful. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's 100. So I'm not quite sure what you all are planning. If you actually are going to go to this vault, I would probably not recommend it, but there are 3 of you and hundreds of them, so...
Is there someone occupying it currently?
The vault itself?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have not ventured that way. There has been too many hazards. And I have a community to take care of here.
Understood. Thank you for your help.
I appreciate yours in turn.
Of course.
Oh yeah, does any of us have a tracking? Like, what would be tracking?
Survival.
Yeah.
Survival. Would investigation help?
If you're looking real close.
Squint. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll science this. We'll solve this with science.
Science.
So we want to like go around the little table here, and I think you all are going off in different directions, if I remember correctly. So let's go. Well, I'll go by the overlay. Adam,
Yo.
what are you doing?
I want to go talk to Eugene? What was his name? Eustace.
Yeah.
It began with an EU. And I would like to find out what I can do to help medically.
Okay. So you make your way through this little civilization, as we'll call it.
And I also keeping an eye out as I head over there, just like looking around, noticing, seeing if people are doing okay. Like, the guy seems nice, but Isaac knows that you can't always trust the leader of a town. Sometimes it's best to keep an eye out and look around while you're just walking through.
Right. The general feeling that you get as you're walking are people are on edge. You're not sure if it's just because of the ghouls outside, but people also look quite emaciated. There's
Well, no. I mean, because you were like, hey, maybe they're moving because of lack of food, which would make sense if they're also lacking food. Because it means, yeah, they might be the only thing to eat around.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Than Granius people.
So, you find this. It's not even really a walled structure. It's more like somebody had taken a little cut out of the rock there and put a wood wall up, and there's a big red X that's painted on the or cross that's painted on the side of it. You move around the corner. There's literally like one gurney. A gentleman's laying across it who looks pretty worse for wear. Got a large chunk taken out of his lower left leg. It's wrapped up for the time being in the best cloth you can really get at the time. Sort of a layer of old coal dust sort of laying across everything, which is impossible
Unsanitary.
Yeah, but given the conditions expected. There is a grizzled old man. He's got like a little white goatee that's sort of just puffed out everywhere. These large spectacles that he's looking over this gentleman who's laying on the gurney in front of him with, and he's sort of taking the bandage and just like checking the wound at the time being. Doesn't really seem to notice you walk up per se.
I'm gonna wait until he's not like actually like hands into the wound, and then I'm gonna knock like on the wood wall. Just excuse me.
You see him take, he's puts the bandage back on and starts walking over to like this little setup he's got. It looks like he's got some sort of bottle of old whiskey or something resting on it. He takes it and he's putting it on another bandage. It looks like this is probably about as sanitary as it's going to get in this location.
Yeah.
He looks up towards you in your direction. Eh?
Hi, I'm looking for Eustace.
Well, you found him.
Hi, my name is Isaac. I'm hoping to help if I can. I know my way around medicine decently enough. I might be able to help out.
Oh, you a doctor then?
Well, there's no real place that does like diplomas or certification anymore, but I guess I'm sort of the nearest thing.
Well, that's good, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here.
Oh.
I think I'm just useless, so this is the best thing they give me to do.
I'm gonna like hold out my hands for the bandage and the whiskey. Do you mind if I take a look at him?
Fuck no. Go ahead, boy. He walks over and hands them to you.
Thank you. Okay.
You got this?
I'm going to try. What happened to him?
Some ghoul took a big old chunk out of his leg.
Okay.
Trying to drag his ass off.
I'm gonna go up and examine him. Do like a medicine check?
Sure.
That's a natural 20.
Natural 20.
So 28. total.
Wow.
You are looking at this wound. It looks. You can see like the teeth marks where the flesh had been ripped from it. There's a large chunk of the muscle missing. Even the bone itself is marked from the ferocity of the bite. The edges of it look like it's definitely infected. In your opinion, it's pretty obvious to you that he's most likely going to lose this leg. If he doesn't, he's going to die.
Okay.
Well, it's up to you,
Is he
Isaac.
conscious?
Take it off.
He is breathing, but not
Okay.
really conscious. It
Not
looks like
there.
it looks like probably he's overcome with fever and delirium at this
Okay.
point.
Okay. I'm gonna need a couple things. He needs to lose his leg, or else it's gonna kill him.
The doctor moves over to this stand that he has, and he has a big old hacksaw he pulls out from underneath
Oh
of it.
yeah, called it.
Okay. I'm gonna ask him for whatever else I would need, or Isaac would think he would need, for this sort of operation. Whether or not they have it is another matter. I do have a healer's kit that I will pull out, and if that will help me at all in making things work a little bit smoother. And I would like to, as painlessly as possible, remove this man's leg. And safely as possible.
Okay. With your skills and your kit, do you think you can make the job fairly sanitary as possible, as given your conditions? The saw is a little bit worse for wear, so it's probably going to be a grindy job. It's probably going to break the bone more than it's actually going to cut it.
Can I do it at the knee where there's the joint and like not have to worry about really going through bone?
Sure. If you want to take like a knife or something and cut around the meat.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Isaac.
Yep.
You move to the knee, sink the blade in, hot blood pouring over your fingers. It's that sick sound as you dislocate the kneecap and the leg, yanking it free.
I'd say like about like 2, 3, maybe half a minute after he starts cutting in, like the disgust kind of goes away because now it's medical,
Right.
and it just and he just like sinks into what he needs to do. Like the first couple seconds he's very, very uncomfortable, but after that,
So you remove this leg, setting it to the side on a table that's nearby, since you don't really have any other way to dispose of it at the time being. Go ahead and make me a medicine check.
a medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. That is going to be a 21.
Damn. Okay. So you feel that you have bound this wound the best you can. You feel that the alcohol is probably going to be strong enough to prevent any infection from the tools that you've used. And right now it just seems like the fever is the worst part he's suffering through at this point. As far as antibiotics go,
Yeah.
hard thing to come by.
Yep. I will pass along the information for like follower one of the Apocalypse 101 fever care, like washcloth on the forehead, make sure he gets liquids in him, etc., etc.
Okay.
I'll also give him some like post care for the wound, making sure like bandage gets changed appropriately, etc.
By post care, do you also mean a swig of whiskey? He might need
Yes.
it.
Once after he wakes up, no booze until he recovers from the fever. But like, and like Isaac will write down everything, like in his journal.
Okay.
Rip out the page and hand it to him.
Okay, so you do all that. Handing it to
You need to
Eustace.
follow these, or he will die.
He sort of takes his glasses down, looks over it. How technical did you write this?
Layman's terms.
Good job.
This is literally like every like X amount of time, make sure like check this, change the washcloth on his forehead after like an hour, like very small words.
Okay, good deal. Eustace seems to nod, sort of reads over it. I never would have thought of doing it that way. You gonna stick around here for a while?
I'm not sure for how long, but if there's something else that I can help with.
Oh, old Hartsel here was probably the worst one we had. Otherwise, it's mostly people who are just hungry and starving. I don't know that you can really do much for that.
I can't. I know someone who might be able to, depending on how picky you are.
Well, we can't really grow much down here in the mine, so...
I'll see what I can do about that. And if there's anything else I can do to help, let me know.
He, reaches under the table and walks up towards you and hands you a small pouch.
What's this?
Well, I know it ain't much, but for your trouble.
Isaac has no subtlety. He's just gonna look at it right away.
It's a small bag that's full of caps.
How much does it look like it is?
It's about 25.
Okay. Are you sure that you guys don't need it?
Can't be really spending it right now, so...
I suppose that's true.
We'll be alright. We'll be fine once the ghouls are taken care of. If the ghouls are taken care of. Otherwise, we won't need it regardless, so...
I suppose that's true. Well, thank you.
He slaps you on the shoulder. Did a good job, boy. Yeah, it's like that, too.
Yeah, yep. I'm just glad I could help.
Me too. Anything else you want to do with your time?
Not really. I'd like maybe take a look, like wander through like the people a little bit, see if there's anything where it's like, oh, hey, that person has this disease. Like, if there's anything where it's like, this person doesn't realize that they're super sick. But besides that, like, the medical thing was really...
It says, as far as it goes, it mostly looks like people are...
starving.
A couple of people look like they're probably close to being dehydrated at this point.
Oh, there's one other thing. Continuing, Maxwell asked me to ask about local flora, fauna, etc.
Local flora and fauna.
So, before I leave the doctor, I'm going to just ask him quick about the stuff that Maxwell wanted me to ask about.
Oh, you're asking the doctor?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, across the river there, besides the ghouls, there's a tale of a couple death claws that might be roaming the area.
Oh.
Supposedly it's a male and his mate.
Oh.
Where should we not go then? Where are they?
Probably anywhere across the river.
Okay.
They're quite territorial.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are sort of sporadic of where they move to.
Good to know.
Can't say they're there now, but can't say they're not. So, and I'm not of the mind to go find out.
Yeah, that's not something I'd want to find out, really.
But there's a lot of ghouls around, so there's a good chance they might not be in the area.
Or if they are, there might be less ghouls.
That's very true.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. For fauna, I mean, it's nothing too typical here. Most of the interesting stuff would be far away from here, northeast-wise. Around the bogs. It's an area you probably don't want to go to.
Why not?
You ever see a plant that probably wants to eat you?
I've read about them.
Yeah. There's a bunch of those there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, I don't know of any other creature that roams that area just for that cause.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if we do go there, they're plants, so they can't really chase after us.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
I'm not either, and I'm not about to find out.
That might be for the best. Thank you again.
So where y'all headed to after this?
Right now, I'm not exactly sure.
We'll
have to discuss it over when everybody gets together again.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're doing here and all that, but I really hope you're not trying to go after them ghouls.
Me personally, no. Not at the moment, at least. I hope we don't have to. There seems to be a lot of them.
Yeah, that's an accurate assertion. There is a lot in the area still. I practice a lot of caution if you're going to be traveling around here.
Understood.
I heard tell that this mine goes fairly deep. There's many entrances. I suppose if you don't want to try to go across the land, you could always try to find another way out of here.
Do you know where any of them pop out?
I heard one of them is close to Westland Lake, just northeast of here.
Is there anything that we should be afraid of that is over there?
That's pretty typical area, you know, the bunch of
nothing like a horde of cannibal zombies or
not that I know of, but
deathclaw mates or
squirrels. Not that I know of. Squirrels, it's hard to tell. Been a while since I've been in that area, but you got your typical, you know, insects of unreasonably large sizes.
Any rodents of unusual size?
Ask them about the rad roaches.
Thank you for your help.
Damn.
Okay, we're gonna move over to. I guess we're gonna go over to CA. Is that your next on the Beverly?
Well, me and Maxwell are together, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're moving to Beth U. I thought you were going to the river or something. Maybe I misunderstood.
I think they both are.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to.
So you guys are.
I mean, safety in numbers, and also that way we don't just one of us gets carried off by a bunch of ghouls. And
It was nice. It was nice playing.
Bye.
I'll remember your corpses fondly while I'm now the new doctor of this place.
So next week I
it
might
pays
need
well.
2 new people. Just so you know. Just throwing that out
I've
there.
been waiting for
Twitch
them to
chat.
come back from the river. Just working on another.
it's
Hey,
fine.
no.
I'll roll persuasion and share Shelby bits with them.
Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Horrible.
This is terrible.
So horrible.
So you two make your way back out of the mine.
Do we see anything? I feel
You
like
see
that's
lots
important.
of trees
No, no.
in a river.
Does it seem safe?
Okay.
It
do we
seems
see
very
bubbles in the
quiet.
water?
No, you
It's
do not. See,
awkwardly
you do not
quiet.
see
Okay.
bubbles in the water. It is very awkwardly quiet though.
Okay, so like no animal sounds at all.
Right. And given your time in the wastelands, not hearing anything is usually a bad sign.
Okay, so I mean, I
Let's go
guess
back there.
gun out.
Maxwell, I'm going to need you to tie something to my feet so I sink.
How am I going to retrieve you?
I have 50-foot hemp rope.
No. The problem is not. Perhaps you misunderstood. I'm not particularly physically inclined. If you were to sink, I don't think I would have a lot of ease in pulling you back up. Also, aren't you metallic? Shouldn't sinking come to you relatively naturally?
I don't know. What do you think, Saevrick? I don't think I would be that heavy to sink to the bottom.
You would be normally about the average weight of a human based on the materials that you're made of. I mean, they're sturdy, but they're not like, you're not made of cast iron or anything like that, you know?
Yeah,
basically
so I
stainless steel.
You may not have the buoyancy of a human body, though.
Right.
How buoyant am I?
Roll for buoyancy.
I have to get a hold of Spilldale's studio and say, we need a new skill, apparently. A new attribute.
I am proficient in buoyancy.
You can probably make it without much issue. You're not full of air, so...
Special talent, sinking like rock.
With the water, it's probably not that see-through, I'm assuming?
No, it's fairly murky water. Have you ever seen the Ohio River? But it's something. It's not pretty. Neither are the
wet.
offshoots. Yeah, it's a murky brown water.
I'm concerned about the visibility underwater.
And problematically, we don't have anything like chemical flares. I mean,
I can still walk and see what I can see.
Do you have any ability to detect radiation short-term wise? Like,
I am not a Geiger counter.
I mean, I don't necessarily know what functionality you were granted. It's not like so.
I totally could have.
Unfortunately, I just have hacking skills and expertise in stealth. And I can scrounge for things and find stuff.
I mean, I
really good at
suppose
that.
if you'd like to watch over me while I take samples from the water, so I don't get possibly, I don't know, pulled in with little notice.
I shall protect you.
To tie a rope around me so I don't get.
So I'll watch over Maxwell as he goes to the water.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm taking samples of the water just to find out. While I was in the town, would I have noticed that anyone looked dehydrated as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I'm definitely taking samples of the water to see the relative safety and radiation levels, and if there's any indication that it could be there's some source of radiation is like leaking into it, or leaking in further ahead, and there's even a smidge of it, because depending on that, it's like, oh yeah, there's totally a source of like ghoul stuff somewhere near the lake.
I found the ghoul stuff.
You get your water samples. You really don't have any equipment here, obviously, to test it with.
But we can do that back in town. Yes. Is there anything else that you'd like to... If anything else you might think would be useful while we're here, or should we beat a hasty retreat before we are given some unwanted attention by the other locals?
Maybe we should return since we cannot see through the water.
Yeah, the only thing I could have thought of is seeing if there was any chance of retrieving supplies from where the ship sunk. But
We could throw something into the water to see if there is a horde beneath the surface. But then it would be unsafe for us.
oh, wait, solution. So, would it be safe to say I took some of the Shelby bits off and separately bagged them?
I just really want to.
Yes, I take some Shelby bits. I take some Shelby bits and toss them into the water.
Wow. Okay.
Shelby, man.
Quote that.
Oh, wow.
That has been quoted. You take some of these fleshy, meaty bits and fling them into the water.
Maxwell brand Shelby bits.
To go with Maxwell brand chum.
What you see...
I'm still carrying the chum around.
They sort of float on the surface lazily, going with the flow of the river. southeast bound. Then all of a sudden there's a splash as this humongous fish, probably this wide, grabs at him and sinks back underneath the surface. It's in an instant.
Can I make a perception check to try and figure out what kind of fish it was?
Absolutely.
I need to figure that one out for
Science.
Yeah, basically. That would be a 13.
A 13. With your 13, you would determine. I mean, you've been around for what, a couple hundred years, probably. So you would, by your best guesstimation, think it's some sort of long derivation of what a largemouth bass would have been. But
that also gives me a slight indication that there's definitely some nasty mutation, radiation in the water then to cause that mutation.
most likely would be your guess.
Well, I do believe we've just committed some science. Now to the safety of the town, but I have some notes to add to my journal and some things to do with this water, and let's be off.
All right, so then we'll go back.
Okay.
Thank you, Captain Shelby. You've aided us from beyond the grave.
That's one piece of Shelby that won't grow into a new Shelby.
I One settlement will be Shelby-less now.
Oh no, it'll
be
overtake the fish.
Shelby.
I need to do a virus to this stream and just do you can buy an NPC, but it's all Shelby's.
It'll be like the Times.
Yeah.
The Time Works, except it'll be Shelby's. I like it.
Everywhere. It'd be like a whole community of Shelby's. What's going on, Pawpaw?
One of them will be a fish in a fishbowl in a robotic suit.
Just a guy wearing a really bad fish costume.
Oh god.
I'm Fish Shelby.
You return to the mines. There's no real equipment here that you see that you could possibly test the water with, but you have a good inclination that it's probably irradiated.
Yeah.
Question. I need this page. Okay, so, would my robot be able to help out?
What kind of robot do you have?
I basically have an iBot.
An iBot?
Oh.
Yep. No, it can't do anything. It can zap things and it can bop things.
Bip and bop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it can't. Okay.
That said, when we get back, we should search out Isaac. I'm sure he'd be interested in this recent development.
Isaac is probably still bloody from it. He's rolled up his sleeves when he was doing it, and there's just there's still blood stains on bits and part of it. He's tried to clean it off. Some he's just completely missed that it was there. So his hands are clean, but there's still splatters and stuff on his lab coat.
Beautiful.
So that's the sight you all see when you do finally run into Isaac.
You guys, you're back. How'd it go?
Isaac, you look as though you were slaughtered in the night.
That was the leg.
Inversely, it looks like he slaughtered someone during the night.
It was someone's leg. I had to get
Self-defense.
removed.
You removed someone's appendage?
Yes, it was infected. If it hadn't been removed, it would have killed him. But he's gonna be okay now, I think.
Maxwell, can you use that in your soup?
No.
I do not think that most
No, he
people
can't.
would take well to that.
I wouldn't take well to that.
Isaac, we definitely have proof, though, that the water nearby is contaminated and rather severely.
Right. And he digs out your notebook, and it's slightly blood splattered as well, because he took his notes right after doing the procedure, and he so there's a little bit right on the page writing on. But he'll be oh, here. Oh, sorry. But I got some new information. There's some death claws. And a couple hordes of zombies. Ghouls. And we might be able to go underneath the mine instead of outside.
Oh, you also mentioned, you have written down, like, the Venus death traps, right?
Oh, yeah, those.
Yeah, it's like a...
Yep. Yeah. They might be able to move?
Not, okay, that's a little less tenable.
Deathclaws are large, agile, strong species of mutant, created through genetic engineering with additional DNA. Perhaps we can use them to our advantage.
Also the squirrels, if we could figure that one out, since, to be quite fair...
I love that the squirrels keep coming up. It's like
their dietary needs might be a little bit easier to tend to than the death claws.
Also, everybody's starving and dehydrating.
Yeah, irradiated water likely doesn't help. If there's something we could do to... Actually, you know what? It's, how much of the run-through of the town have you taken while you were here?
I've walked around a bit.
Do they have anything to, say, capture rainwater, any sort of...
Inside a mine? No.
I mean... Because we saw, like, the indication of a building outside, right? So there's a front. Do they have anything set up for the portions that are outside? Or does it not look like they've had anything like that?
From what you've gathered, they have what appears to be about as stable as a tarp as you could get. Unfortunately, even the rains around this area have a little bit of a rad storm effect to them.
Wait, even the rain does?
Would I know anywhere there might be something that would help with water purification, or would I be able to engineer up something with water purification?
Oh yeah, you got. Between the two of you, you could easily probably come up with something that would help out with that.
Yeah, because I think both of us are proficient in science and engineering. So.
And have tools, in fact.
Yep.
So, I mean,
let's
that might
get
be a
to
good
science.
Start. Yeah, because starvation isn't the imminent thing. They'll die to dehydration first.
So let's fix it.
Yeah, although cooking tools might be useful. I mean, I can probably... I wonder if there's fungus around here. It's not a great alternative, but...
Maybe in the mine.
Yeah, because it's dank. And yeah, so first things first. Dank.
I just love how I said it. It's dank.
What kind of mushrooms are you looking for here?
Yo, these mushrooms be dank.
I mean, I'm gonna point out if they're really that depressed. Take your mind off the problem.
These mushrooms, they're great. But yeah, no, Isaac or Maxwell can put their heads together to come up with something for water purification.
With your tools, you have a feeling that you're probably going to have to build some sort of heating source, and being in the mine would probably not be the best place to build it. So if you did do that, you would have to do it
up at the top.
Most likely, yeah.
I mean,
Could we build it inside and then set it up outside?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, and I mean, for thoughts for outside, we could possibly set it up right near one of the upper windows, so any sort of exhaust it creates, we can have directly vent from the window.
Look at you and your science brain.
There we go.
So you two are going to try to build something. I want one of you to roll, and with advantage as you are aiding the other. You guys can choose who is going to take charge of this
Isaac,
project.
please roll, since you keep draining all my luck.
Hey, did you say science?
Yes.
Hey. Okay, that is a 19.
Okay. You guys managed to make a very competent purification station with the tools around you, with the tools that you have. You have great pride in what you've made, and you're very confident that it's going to do the job that you intended for it.
Set it up. I think it wouldn't be the worst idea just to let people know and make sure that they don't want something. It's not going to be
misused either, because I
Yeah.
mean, we might not necessarily always be here. We should probably also make notes so they can repair it in our absence.
and so that, don't have it here because then that will alert people to X, Y, and Z.
Also fire hazards, other things.
Yes.
We'll just make notes for dummies.
We should make sure that we're not
The
doing
apocalypse
something.
version.
Yep, and make sure that we're not doing anything stupid too. So we'll find the head honcho. Be like, hey, we made a water purification unit for you. Happy birthday.
He takes a look over it. And you made it portable. I'm quite impressed. Does it work?
Something. Oh,
Only one way to find out.
Yes.
We were thinking of putting it. It would benefit from being up near the top, potentially out in the building.
Or just top floor near one of the windows, so it can vent the. Yes. It doesn't need to necessarily be outside. That's a hazard in and of itself, but upwards where the windows are.
Okay.
That does mean you might need to be slightly careful about using it, since it will create some visible
Output.
exhaust. Yes, but that also means potentially, as long as you're boarded up, it also provides an excellent means of thinning out the ghouls by attracting them and then putting bullets in them.
So are we gonna go try it out now, or?
Yes.
Oh, I am quite content to see this.
I want to see how it works.
Okay.
How well it works, rather. I know how it works. I built it with these guys, so,
I know.
Also,
You know what I
how much water do you already have stocked up that might be somewhat not pure at the moment? Just to...
He goes back to a barrel that's sort of sitting in the corner. It's got a fine layer of fresh dust on the top of it from the walls itself. If you've ever been in a coal mine, you would know you can't keep anything out of anything in those things. It looks like it's an old rain barrel. There's probably a good 20 gallons of it in there.
Maybe a better water collection system as well. Seems like it might be something for us to work on, Isaac.
We can see what we can do.
What you gather is it's probably not that it's a bad means of collecting it, it's just a bad means of storing it, given their situation.
Yeah. I mean, either or, though. As an aside, it might actually be wise to keep things up in the upper portion of the mines, or in the building in future, just so it doesn't accumulate this detritus in the water. I mean, the filtration, we could probably work that out, actually. Yeah, Isaac, our thing should work that out, correct?
Probably get it so that it can, like if they are growing like corn or something like that, we could probably make it so it could go down into water their crops as well.
We could try.
I mean, the problem is they need to be growing food that does well with a relative lack of sunlight.
Sunlight.
That's true. We don't know what they're growing as of yet.
Did I see any farms? Like any growing spots when I was walking around?
Down here, no, you did not see any.
Okay.
You would assume that any would probably be on the surface.
Hey, let's just see if this works.
Right.
First and foremost.
And then it explodes.
Yes.
You got a 19. You made very, very effective.
You three and Preacher sends Destiny up with you with her rifle. Sort of keep an eye on you. I'm not saying that you're going to do anything necessarily, but more to keep an eye over you. So you three move up and set up your little purification system, and we're going to fire it up.
You want to push the button, or do you want me to push the button?
Honor's yours.
Hey.
I rolled a 19. It works perfectly.
Yay.
Starts up fine.
Thank God. Okay.
So you get this little coil system going. It's sort of like Have you seen like a still where the cool air condenses it and it gives out this very clean looking water, still quite warm, but do you feel like it's probably going to be very satisfying for the situation?
Destiny, what exactly is the source of food for the mine?
For the mine?
Well, for the people inhabiting the mine.
That I don't know.
She lifts her arm and points off to the, just outside the mine.
Destiny is attempting to communicate.
I'm gonna take a look.
Right.
Yep. She can't
We'll walk
speak.
over.
I'm gonna go see where she's pointing.
Yeah.
So you guys follow the best indication. She's following behind you and sort of leading you there as it is. You find what looks to be probably a fallow field, one that's probably been used too often. It looks like there might have been some tomatoes and some wild onions. They look like they're pretty stemmy at this point from lack of water.
Which this might help with it then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else that we could... I mean, you have the nature check, right?
I mean, I can do one.
Yeah, I mean, figure out if there's anything we can do to improve or help the
Sure.
fields, because my only idea is mushrooms.
Sure, I'll do a nature. That is going to be 18.
18. You feel definitely you need some sort of, if they're not going to be on the surface enough to tend to them daily, at least some sort of irrigation system would probably be very helpful.
Okay.
I believe you can grow more tomatoes with the original tomato.
Seed tomatoes. Awesome. I'm gonna just jot down a couple whatever tips and pointers, especially I'm sure the followers would have had some again gardening for dummies kind of thing. And when we get back to Preacher, I'm gonna remember to hand that over.
What is the soil type?
It's not the best. It's sort of a rocky mix of soil and fine stone.
Okay.
Suitable
But it
enough to
doesn't help.
grow, but
Not ideal.
you're not going to get the best
Not
product
ideal.
out of it.
Hasn't been getting watered for
Yeah.
on a regular basis. Okay.
And towards the water, was it more like sandy?
Yes.
We might be able to use that.
I'm also gonna put in a note about using fertilizer.
Okay.
Mm.
So you all are taking a look over this field. What you all going to make me perception
Quick question,
checks while
by
you're
the
out
way.
here?
Just a very quick question.
Yes.
The ghoul bodies are too irradiated to be able to mulch them and use them as fertilizer, right?
Yes.
Just asking. Yeah, you know what? Actually, can I make a science check and figure out if there would be a way to process them? Because I don't have any moral compunction against this.
Sure.
What are you doing, Maxwell?
The questions you get asked as a DM in Fallout.
10.
That's not a bad roll.
Very average.
Yeah.
It's not. It is. I love 10 rolls.
You could process them, you feel. You're not quite sure. You're more of a chemist than a botanist, or a biologist at this point. You feel that you could probably make some sort of fertilizer from it. You're just not quite sure what the long-term effects are going to be.
So
Ooh,
I can
we
actually
make a sample crop.
do that. According to my character setup, it says that I get advantage when attempting to predict an outcome with an intelligence-based ability check. Would I use nature, since that's an intelligence check, to see if that would become something or benefit us?
Sure.
Yeah, you know what? I
Or
bounced.
make zombie plants.
I mean,
Ghoul plants.
yeah, I mean, Whichever, though. It's posed to both of you as like, this is a possibility, and there's no shortage of ghoul bodies.
That would be 24.
24. Your feeling is, well, even with your high roll, you're fairly sure it would work. The size would probably be decent, but at the same time, it would irradiate the soil, and therefore probably irradiate the product that you're going to be producing.
And it might attract things.
That's a possibility too.
I had a 23 for your perception that you asked for.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I had 21 for your perception.
I had a 5.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so Maxwell is probably looking over his notes and thinking about the best way to mulch corpses. You two are...
And he's eyeing like pieces of the beach, and where would be the best part to like put a sample garden to figure this out? Like, how would we put the test garden? What would we want to grow first? How would we want to... Isaac, what do you think?
That's hilarious. The other two, you see probably 60 feet off into a tree. A little head poking out. And by little, I mean probably about this big.
Looks human, though?
It looks of a rodent variety.
Oh.
Is it a radroach?
No, rodent. It might be a
Oh,
squirrel.
rodent. Oh, it's a squirrel.
Isaac is gonna pull out Mel, send her off, and send her to investigate.
Okay.
My little iBot will hover on over. It'll make it like, you said it was 60 feet?
Yes.
So I'll just have it move its normal speed halfway there.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making notes when you guys were telling me stuff. How does this thing report to you exactly?
That is a good question. I'm
If it
gonna
doesn't-
guess that it observes and then it can come back to me.
Okay.
Because, like, yeah, there's nothing really on like how it does anything. It's your custom bot follows your commands as best it can.
Okay. We'll think of a way that it can communicate to you, even if it's very minimal speech.
It can probably beep boop at me, like Edie from New Vegas.
Or R2D2.
Or R2D2.
So it moves forward about 30 feet, and this thing is looking at the entire time. And you going to send the bot further to investigate, or leave it there?
I'm gonna leave it there for the moment. Like, have it take a good look, see if it sees any more of them.
Okay. Why don't you let me let you have it make a perception check then. Just go ahead and roll me a d20.
And it gets a +1 to that. So that is going to be an 12.
12. You
Average.
It's gonna be hard to tell you what's happening when you don't really know yourself.
That's what happens. It gets clever girl.
Yeah, it's looking off to the left, straight forward to the right, and just makes that pattern.
And then I'm gonna have it come back after, like, we basically have instructed it, go out, see if there's any more of these things, if they seem to be hostile, and come back.
Okay. It makes its way back towards you. Why don't you ask it a question?
What'd you see? Were there a lot of them?
It makes 3 beep sounds at you.
Were they moving in?
Doesn't make a sound, which you interpret as probably a no.
Okay. So I will turn to the rest of the group. There's 3 of them. They don't seem to be approaching.
Three of what? Still, like, looking over at a piece of the meat? Huh?
3 rodential things. Rodential? That sounds sciencey.
Mm-hmm.
Rodential.
I don't believe that's correct, Isaac.
There's 3 rodents out there.
Save. I'd like to make an investigation check on the field since we're here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if there's signs that the rodents have possibly been, like, plundering or rooting this up or not, because that might give me an idea for their diet.
Yeah, make me investigation or survival.
Investigation is definitely my forte, and that in total, 20.
What was that? I'm sorry, you cut off.
23.
23.
Whoa.
What you see after moving some of the dried foliage to the side, you do see, it looks like some animal footprints. Probably about as big as my hand is.
Two things here, Isaac,
Mm-hmm.
which might be actually useful. A, I do believe our furry friends over there have been helping to decimate the local food supply, which also
Fun
means
fact.
that hopefully they won't eat us.
Decimate actually just means reduced by 10%.
Well, at the same time, they didn't annihilate it because there's still leftover food.
I just think it's a fun fact.
I am sensing
I
some
mean, true.
hostility from Maxwell.
Anyway, continue.
Which does mean, actually, even if there are long-term effects that might be worrisome about using the zombie remains, they would actually make a lovely decoy to possibly feed the squirrels and also potentially provide a source of protein by farming them.
If we feed the squirrels the ghouls,
No,
that make-
we're going to use the ghouls as fertilizer. The squirrels have likely already adapted
I
to
thought
a
we
high
said the
radio-
ghouls would make it irradiated.
Which is why the food source we make with the ghouls are going to be for the squirrels, which have already adapted to a high radiation environment.
We could breed the squirrels and then use them to feed those at the settlement.
If they're eating irradiated things, won't that make them irradiated?
Slightly less than eating directly irradiated things since they've learned to process it.
Not according to natural selection.
Okay.
Also, the other thing is, it also allows the production of, say, non-irradiated food, since that will make some sort of defense or something to keep the squirrels out, and having a readily available source of irradiated nutritious stuff for the squirrels. Yeah. Because currently the issue is, even if we do solve the field, the squirrels are still going to pick it apart.
Yeah, unless we make like a scarecrow.
I also pause and I like direct him to the size of like the squirrel prince.
A big scarecrow with like
I'm not sure that would prevent it
weapons?
if they got. I mean, a turret would work, but at the same time, I'm not sure how. I'm not sure it would have enough ammunition. On the other hand, breeding squirrels to eat them, etc. Sort of 2 birds, 1 stone, and maybe it'll. Yeah, I don't know. To be quite fair, it's not a great situation, regardless.
It's not. We should check with what the people who have to live with these things would like.
True.
Can
but
I
we
roll
now
to
actually
see
have
if
viable
radiated
outcomes.
squirrels can actually breed with each other? Because, like, if they're all mangy and messed up, I don't know if they actually do breed.
I have to
Do they
come
look
from
mangy and
somewhere.
messed up? That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Let's handle one question at a time. See, go ahead and make me your. I guess we'll make it a nature check.
It'll be what check?
I suppose a nature check, given this circumstance.
16.
Um.
Can radiated
God,
squirrels
can
breed?
radiated squirrels have multiple children? Yes, they can.
That was my only question that I had. What was your question, Maxwell?
I think at this point I was more or less just like, we should address them, like the actual townspeople, figure this out, because... Okay.
We can trap them.
We can trap them, and having the food also means we have an excellent way of both feeding them and attracting them.
And mating them.
Yes. Okay, so I suppose, Isaac, do you have anything to say contrary to this course of action and providing this as a plan to the town?
Preferably, we should build the trap while Isaac thinks, before they run away.
I don't think we have to worry about them running away. They'll probably come back if this is a source of food.
Yes.
My
we can actually spend
concern
the time planning the trap.
would be that it's not easy to domesticate giant, potentially deadly animals, and that attempting to do so when none of these people, as far as I know, are trained animal people, might result in all of them dying.
I mean, we can try and idiot-proof whatever instructions we leave, because we're not going to be
How
here.
good are you with domesticating large animals?
We didn't ask anybody at the settlement. It is possible there is a breeder there.
I mean, anything is possible.
Also, the secondary thing is just providing a source to attract them there, and then just them occasionally picking one off with a rifle shot or something is perfectly viable.
It is.
As long as the one source of food that is not irradiated is fairly well protected, and the other one is not, they should generally gravitate towards the unprotected one.
We're having there's two sources of...
Okay, so the ghouls provide an excellent source of fertilizer, and we can literally set up the ghoul...
Oh, a second one.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know there was going to be a second one. This
No.
makes things a little bit more clear.
That, because we don't want the squirrels going to the current field that they're going to, because even if we fix the irrigation, they're going to tear it up and eat them. It's what rodents do.
Yeah.
Unless we provide them a alternate, richer field, which will be, fertilized with the blood of the town's enemies.
I think we should check with the town first. Before we do anything that will drastically change their lifestyle.
Oh, yes, but I mean, they're also starving, and I'm not sure what their alternatives are at this point.
This is true, but we should still ask people.
Let us talk to Eustace.
Yeah, I feel like a conversation might be...
I think Preacher would probably be a better... He seemed to be in charge. Eustace doesn't know what he's doing.
Eustace is pretty smart.
You haven't met Eustace.
Yes, we have. I thought we did.
He's the doctor.
Eustace,
I got
Eustace
you.
was the junior Sawbones.
Yes. Preacher.
Yep. Yeah. So, I think we should talk to him first.
And we should go. Let's do it.
Okay. So you guys are going to get back to Preacher. And,
oh my god, they are rodents of unusual size. I am so happy.
This is going to be an interesting conversation. So what do you want to do exactly? You need to tell this to Preacher.
We would like,
Maxwell is going to do all the talking.
Oh, fuck. Okay, you know what?
we would
Can
like
I
to
break-
breed squirrels on your territory.
One moment, if we may. We have ascertained what has been damaging your crops, and we have a number of fundamental solutions to this in several steps. Whether any of these may be feasible to you and your group, I figure we can lay them out, including with some handy-dandy illustrations, which I'm working on right now. Scribbling. They're stick figures, by the way.
We think
I
we
don't have
know
an art
what's
talent.
messing with your fields.
Oh no, we actually have proof of that. But, and then it's like laying out like current fields, the lack of hydration, and the squirrels, like including like, oh, squirrel prints here. There was probably droppings there, but maybe not. Which also, side note, droppings, excellent for fertilizer.
That part's at least true.
Yeah, And then it'd say, so currently you also have a source of protein in these squirrels, but you need to find a way of managing them. Unfortunately, squirrels are rodents notorious for breeding and being hard to extinguish, and doing anything that might blight your crops would be intrinsically very dangerous to the people. So we've figured a solution to this, which would be setting up a secondary crop. Perhaps you said the land closer to the beach might be good, but specifically aimed to draw the squirrels a bit further to a more manageable area, and which might also serve to, given their large squirrels, dissuade things like ghouls from coming over. And also, incidentally, we figured a way of fertilizing that crop. Which then goes into the page of, like, ghoul bodies, chainsaw, and, like, fertilizer. Because he's like, how would we actually mulch them? And there's like a lawnmower, and then it's like, then like, this doesn't quite work, chainsaw. And then there's like lacking chainsaw hatchet. Oh, no. And then like fertilizer to this, which is specifically to be fed to the squirrels and only the squirrels, as like to create the secondary garden. The normal garden can be handled in whatever way, of which certain things should be put around it to turn. Oh yeah, it's just totally like, you clearly let a scientist just go off and do his own thing with no oversight. It's like
Isaac is like off to the side, like sitting away from them, just like.
Do you have? I mean, you've already mentioned you're quite good at long-term analysis. Can you say what you might be able to predict from these results, Trinity? Just
predict the results of breeding squirrels.
What could possibly go wrong?
And fertilizing the crops with the blood and corpses of our enemies.
Do you want haunted vegetables? That's how you get haunted vegetables.
I'd like to do an intelligence check to see how.
There may be ghouls, Isaac, but ghosts are ridiculous.
25 for squirrel breeding.
25 for squirrel breeding. Oh man, these are the weird times when you're a GM and you have to predict what's going to happen.
I'll be making notes, by the way, based off her analysis, because this gives us data, and data is always useful.
Okay, wow. Where do I begin with this?
It's fabulous.
Let's just go step by step. One, yes, you could make the garden. You could cut up the bodies. You could grow a field. The issue arises that when you're feeding these things, they're going to be breeding more often. You might have an overpopulation of them in the area, which might, one, they're going to destroy the original garden to begin with, and the one that you just planted.
Unless, is there a way that we can keep on top of turning them into grub for the settlement?
Maybe if we build a zoo of squirrels.
I mean, capturing the baby squirrels and selling them off to other settlements. Who knows?
No, well, they could use that as meat to eat.
Oh,
Yes.
you suggesting we build a cattle farm of squirrels?
I mean, do you have any other source of viable meat in the area? I've seen what your river life is like.
Your settlement is dying.
Yes,
You need
but
a source of vegetation and also protein.
yes.
You don't want to be like the ghouls. Ergo, there's a perfectly viable source of protein.
Keeping them trapped keeps the population down.
Or at least just farming, culling them regularly keeps you in check with a regular source of protein while managing their population.
And they also make good pets that you could probably use to protect the crops.
I'll be honest with you, folk. I no idea where the fuck you're going with this. I mean, we're overrun by ghouls, so what's it going to hurt, I guess, but... He sort of looks over to Isaac.
Isaac, the man of reason.
Is there any chance that you all ate paint chips or lived under some irradiated lines? I'm trying to understand here.
Here's the thing. As far as the setting up an irrigation channel and something to help the farm.
You mean the one part of the whole plan that actually made some sanity?
That part is sound. That part is very sound.
I would agree with you on that.
Me personally, I don't think that attracting large, potentially lethal squirrels to the area is an ideal outcome. If there's some way that you could set up an area further away, that might be potentially more feasible.
Which is why we suggested the second garden.
Farther than that.
Yeah, preferably not in our establishment.
No, preferably somewhere nowhere near this place. In fact, if you make it somewhere that is further away, that will have a twofold benefit. If you're going to be harvesting them, you will have a singular place where they will be gathering, and it will also draw them away from the current area.
Again,
as far as like getting them to be, I think if you can get something to deter them from going to the first garden in the first place, that might be potentially good enough. If you can deter them in the first place, you wouldn't really need a second area. There are many places that you can get protein besides meat. And
given the nature of their crops, however, and also
we don't know what they're growing underground, if anything.
When we checked earlier, it didn't look like there was much of anything there, and they look starving. I mean, if you have other viable sources of protein and nutrition, by all means, we can probably work with it. But if you're lacking sustainable sources of nutrition, of meat, then on a short-term notice, this might be one of your only options. And on a long-term notice, because of the manner in which they breed, it would provide you a very safe, comparatively safe compared to starvation, means of actually feeding your entire populace.
Is there any chance of leading them into the town where there is a zombie infestation, ghoul infestation?
I don't rightfully know what they're attracted to be honest.
The ghouls or the squirrels?
Either one, to be honest.
The squirrels were attracted to your garden.
It's a really crappy garden for them to be attracted to.
It was probably the only source of nice, clustered up, easy access vegetables in the area, to be quite fair. That is the nature of gardens.
No matter how far you put the garden, they will still attack this one. They're not that picky.
You would need to defend this garden and create a second one that's more accessible.
Either way, they will attack this garden.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the smartest man, but would it be possible to set up some sort of hydroponics?
Potentially, if we have the right plants.
Yeah, because the issue being, because of the mine, not everything will grow here. If you have fungus, if you have any source of specific types of lighting, we may be able to set something up. But from what because when we checked also earlier for stuff that we could check to test the water, did we see anything that might be able to be usable for like hydroponics, or would we be jerry-rigging everything? Because that would like be lighting.
Really, the type of vegetable isn't really so concerning as it would be to have a means to supply them with water, soil, and artificial lighting.
Yeah.
Would Isaac be able to think up something for the artificial lighting?
There's a chance.
Do you want me? You know what? I'll assist him on the science bit because I have mechanical tools as a tool proficiency.
You can also grow tomatoes with hydroponics.
Hey. So science or?
Yeah, science is good.
Did you say you're gonna give me advantage?
I'm assisting him.
Assisting?
Yeah.
Well, that one's a natural 20.
There we go.
That's incredible.
We're on fire tonight.
I like these dice. So that is going to be a 26 in total.
26 in total.
Which actually still leaves having the outside garden be viable, but then having a safe garden inside that they can wander, which means protein farm and possibly domesticating squirrels long term and perfectly safe indoor garden that's not going to get touched.
You two are talking about this.
Look, we're having a squirrel ranch.
Right. Yeah. Apparently that's going to happen. It's not Monster Hunter Ranch anymore. It's all.
We really want to ride a squirrel. It's just
we need to figure out like what our ranch symbol is going to be, and so I'm sort of thinking like a pair of nuts in like a sort of almost phallic shape, just as a little squirrel brand.
Wow.
Yes. So much.
Yeah.
Yes.
You two are talking. We're gonna move away from phallic squirrel jokes, and you two are talking about this lighting system. As you're going over it, it just so happens that Eustace is walking by at the time. Well, you know, back further in the mine, we had an old station. You know, where the miners would get set up for the day. There might be some lighting back here you could use.
That'd be fantastic.
I don't know what, like, the conditions are now. It's been a while since we haven't been back there.
If they're not perfect, I still do believe that between the lot of us, we should be able to repair them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've so far worked with equipment that wasn't necessarily in tip-top shape and managed to make things that were quite functional. So, yes, as supply sources, that should be more than adequate, I think.
He sort of describes what's back there, and you feel that given the type of lighting, it's highly fluorescent lights, that you probably could build something that would be suitable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that said, though, if we're going to make a prolonged venture, I think it might be wise that we possibly sustain ourselves. I actually have some...
You still have chum, don't you?
I was actually considering cooking up something new. Don't worry, Isaac.
That would be good.
Yes,
I mean, there's a
so
leg laying around, so...
I was going to ask...
You're not eating the leg.
I was going to ask if it might be feasible, if, given we've helped with the water supply, if we might have access to some of that water, maybe some food, that I could prepare some food for our group and I guess a few other people.
Water is easy enough. As far as a food source, you might be able to harvest some of the onions and what's left of the tomatoes that are outside, and possibly forage. Possibly forage for something in the forest.
You know what? We'll take the onions. I'll just make a very nice brothy onion soup, and I take
With
it.
shelby bits.
Yeah.
No Shelby bit.
I'm going to ask Trinity, if she'd like to accompany me, allay Isaac's worry, since he's clearly giving me, like the eye to oversee me cooking. Would that make you more comfortable, Isaac?
I mean, as long as you don't put people bits in it, that's really all I'm concerned with at the moment.
Okay.
Alright, here's the question. Who's going to go get the supplies?
I will go.
If you'd care to accompany her as well, I'll start up the cooking.
Yeah.
Okay. So you two go back to the surface. Start.
Oh, perfect. I have no oversight for a brief bit of time.
Start heading back to the garden, or what's left of the garden, and start pulling out these onions. They're, if you ever had wild onions, they're tiny. They're, maybe this wide at the base of them, the roots. You start to pull these out. And you start hearing, like, all around you.
Okay, we're going inside.
Isaac, do you hear the sound?
Yep, we're going inside.
Isaac, I feel as though we may not go inside.
I've already headed inside.
Oh, no. So I'll run up behind Isaac.
Okay, what pace are you guys going at here?
At very stealthy pace.
You're going at stealthy pace?
Yes, I'd like to be very stealthy.
Isaac is going briskly with a purpose.
No!
So, I'm assuming Isaac is probably double moving.
I'd say he's still like single moving. He's not double moving.
I'm 14 for stealth.
14 for stealth.
He's not trying to. I mean, we are being surrounded by something that sounds like squirrels. They are going to be very aware of the fact that I'm moving away.
Isaac, they're squirrels. You know what that means?
They go nuts.
Oh no.
Wow.
And they're going to be large. No.
Okay, so Triniti moves to the shadows as best as she can. You feel like you're quite well hidden. Isaac, you're taking your steps away, and you hear a loose thud behind you as something probably has struck the ground.
Was it me?
I look over my shoulder as I continue moving towards the door.
You see probably a man-sized rodent squirrel.
I'm running.
And it shrieks terribly at you.
Bolton.
Okay.
You're running like into the mine further, or you're bolting out?
I'm going into the mine because we were outside of the mine.
Oh man.
So I'm running back to the safety of where we were.
It is 10:10. Do you all wish to continue, or do you want to leave this for next time?
I am okay with the suspense of waiting for next time, personally.
Okay. So, Isaac starts running towards the entrance to the mine. Triniti is now hiding somewhere in the tree top. We aren't quite sure. And a large rodent has landed behind you, shrieking quite angrily, watching its meal leaving.
Uh-huh.
So, we will go ahead and call it for this evening. It's been a very interesting episode.
Basically, briefly became like Sim City, I guess.
This was going to be Streaming with the Cannibals Part 2. We didn't really get to any cannibals. We got to a lot of squirrels. We've got to building a squirrel farm, apparently, in a sense.
Squirrel Ranch. Squirrel Ranch.
Sorry.
It's a thing.
Used incorrect dialect
You've
here.
already made a logo. It's important. We're gonna make it for next time when we stream.
Okay, so that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back next week at 8:30. Hopefully, Hannah will be with us, but I know that CA won't be with us.
Correct.
So,
She has disappeared into the shadows.
but on the other hand, we might be having someone stop by.
Dun dun dun.
So, we might still run with a full crew next week.
Woo.
That will be exciting. We'll see what happens. As far as I know, it's going to happen, but things change. So to end this, let's just go around and why don't you guys tell these lovely, lovely people who you are, where they can find you out on the interwebs. We'll just go ahead and start with Adam.
Hi everybody, I'm Adam. I have been Isaac today. Thank you for stopping by and enjoying our little bit of madness. You can find me pretty much almost every day of the week somewhere. You can see me on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday over at Thread Raiders. I won't be there this week. They're going to be, but we're going to be starting 5th edition for Shadowrun. You can catch me Wednesdays DMing my homebrew game Yardall Wolf Age, where last time they met a god, as per usual, but this one's a little bit more potentially dangerous. Then Thursdays you can catch me over on my channel with a Curse of Strahd game, where my dad is alive, and it's really weird. And then Fridays is Threads of Fate over on Soulbear RPG. For the moment, that is it. But yeah. Oh, and here on Sundays. My brain is working.
You are not busy whatsoever.
I'm not. But it's super fun, and I love it. I get to play D&D all the time. It's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
It really is. But occasionally my brain short circuits, so you know. But yeah, so you can catch me somewhere most days. Otherwise, Twitter. I repost fun art stuff and other things. So, you know, it's good times.
Arlie.
Hey folks, I'm Arlie. Basically, God, I'm terrible at this. Okay, you can find me on Twitter at @asacare, where I'm constantly reposting tabletop and indie stuff, and you can find me on Twitch under same namesake of @Arlyeon, where I'm doing a lot of indie gaming and tabletop stuff. I'm usually either streaming the indie stuff, or on Tuesdays I'm in a Curse of Strahd session that a friend is hosting. I am every Sunday doing this, and it's amazing. This is... I'm sorry, Saevrick. I am first responsible for Shelby, and now responsible for squirrel ranching.
Yep.
I had this track record. I am actually really looking to what we do by next Sunday. Probably be the Chris.
It's gonna be interesting.
I'm always looking forward to what we end up doing next Sunday.
And there is a podcast that I'm currently working on for Shadows of the Demon Lord, which is in production, but I'm really excited to share with people because I love that system a lot. It's gothic horror, and Darkest Dungeon was one of my favorite games of all time, and that sort of game captures the same spirit. Oh, also, I thank you guys for the cheers briefly of all my stupid stuff. Lets me just, motivates me to do more dumb things in the future. And thank you again, Saevrick, for this. I am
absolutely
really happy. Oh, and thank you too for putting up with me.
It's a pleasure.
Before I jump over to CA, I was going to put a note here. I get asked constantly by my inner circle of people, so how's the game going? How do you plan for this? Blah blah blah. It's like I fucking can't plan for this. Literally, it all has to go off improv because I don't know what the fuck you guys are going to do. So, and it's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong.
We're all going to Google squirrel breeding after this.
Triniti's going to know so many things about squirrels the next time she comes around. But on that note, go ahead, CA. Let us know about you. What you got going on, where we can find you.
So I am Chaotic Anarchy. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. There's really not many places you can't find me nowadays. I stream Friday nights, currently on my channel, Chaotic Anarchy on Twitch. I will be doing a game, Tomb of Horrors, with a group of Thread Raiders on the 28th. Stink Rat also wants to play Dead by Daylight on the 29th. So we're going to get some Thread Raiders to go play that as well. So that's really exciting. And then I'll be here on Sundays. And there is a Extra Life charity event going on the Thread Raider channel. That is November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So it's a 3-day event. So we'll be doing all kinds of streaming, video games. I'll be DMing a game, which I'm a little nervous about. It's like my first time doing like an official game. So, so come hang out with us. We
actually have a good chunk of first-time DMs. So
we do, yeah.
It's gonna be a great time.
It is.
If you've got free time, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be doing at least one, probably 2 games, I think. I'm not DMing anything, but I'm gonna be like no sleep, so
I'm going to try to help out where I can. So,
yeah. Thanks. So come hang out with us. All the proceeds go to Children's Hospital, so it's for a good cause.
Awesome. So you guys make sure you go follow Thread Raiders and these lovely people.
Where?
So you can get in on this little event they have coming up. And of course, go follow Arlie because Arlie's awesome. He's got what, Crit Hit, right? That you guys run on YouTube.
I actually totally forgot to even mention that.
I'm glad. I remember your stuff better apparently. A lot of what?
I feel bad about plugging stuff.
No, it's all good. This is what this is for. Interviews with indie devs, and I've been on the podcast with them too, talking about mental health, and you've got lots of things going on there. It's a really undeservedly underrated channel that you guys should really go check out. Give them a follow, give them a subscribe, whatever they, show some love. There needs to be more things like that out there, I think. So support your small creators. And in turn, once you go loot the room, I don't know why, that's been my buddy's channels. Tabletop Loot. Been awesome people that sponsor this channel. You can go there. I know my code's probably not as good as the Thread Raiders code is, but you can get 10% off your order if you use mine with code Maelstrom. I think little placard's been posting on the screen every once in a while. Other than that, I've been Saevrick. I've been your game master. I've been your sciencer of squirrel ranching.
A buddy.
Apparently I need to... Oh, thank you for the caps. TK, appreciate that. You can find me here every Sunday at 8:30 running these loons around. I don't even know where we're going from this point. Every other Saturday I run Planescape, Maelstrom Blades, which has been a good time too. I actually heard a couple months to be celebrating its 1-year anniversary, which is surprising to me.
Clearly, we need to become elected officials of the town and take it over.
We must take it over.
It's just going to become the settlement building part of Fallout 4.
Lord.
It's on topic.
So go check out these guys. You can find me on Twitter at Saevrick. I have a Ko-fi, however you want to pronounce it, or you can donate to the stream if you feel like it. You don't have to. It's all good. But all the money does go to the stream. It doesn't go to me. I mean, technically it goes to me, but goes to paying off things that I've put lots of money into to make sure these streams are of decent quality. So if you feel like supporting, I appreciate it. Otherwise, just tell somebody. That's awesome to me too. People tend to forget how much their word really is of value nowadays. So by all means, share. And if you know somebody that needs some love, let us know. And by all means, we'll reach out and throw it out there into the Twitterverse. But I've talked too long, so I'll let these guys go to bed because I'm sure they're ready for it. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. We'll see you next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 3rd episode, which I guess I might title Part 3. I don't even fucking know anymore.
I mean,
edition.
To be fair, they did leave me unsupervised with Shelby bits.
We did.
I'm okay.
So it was... As if Isaac is ever going to eat anything you give him.
So thanks for the bits, thanks for the support, thanks for the love, and it's all reciprocated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.